how the electric polarization occurs in dielectric materials, what is the polarizability, what is the electric flux density. So one by one today we will have learning in this session. So first, already we have learned about the semiconductor physics. So in semiconductors, look here, those are classified into two types. One is the intrinsic semiconductor and another one is the extrinsic semiconductors. So whenever the PN junction diode, that is the extrinsic semiconductor material, it is PN junction diode is doped with the p-type material and n-type material. When these two are contacted with each other, so p-type is nothing but positive charge carriers are the majority charge carriers in p-type material, and n-type material is having the electrons, negative charge carriers. Now here, either taking it is connected in forward bias or reverse bias. So what will happening inside the material? So in that one also we can use the dielectric materials. So now carefully listening the basic definitions in dielectric materials. What is the dipole? A dipole is an entity in which having the equal negative and positive charge carriers, or simply those all are known as the negative charges and positive charges. Those two are separated by a small distance is called a dipole. So what is a dipole means? A dipole is an entity in which equal positive and negative charges which are separated by a small distance is called a dipole. So everybody please note down the basic definitions. This is about the dipole. Next, dipole moment. See here, again these dipole moment means these basic definitions are repeating in magnetic materials also. So what is the magnetic dipole? What is the magnetic dipole moment? What is the magnetic susceptibility? Based on this magnetic flux density, so many definitions are repeated there. So that's why you must be in dielectric material, you must denoted with mu Le. It means electric dipole moment. Simply it is known as the dipole moment in dielectric materials. Here the dipole moment is nothing but the product of magnitude of either of the charges and separation distance between the negative or positive charge carriers. It
Excuse
is,
me, sir.
yeah.
Someone wants to join, sir.
Someone has to join means, see, I am following exact timings. After 5 minutes, I don't allow any candidate in my classroom.
Okay, sir.
Already I have sent the link before 5 minutes. Maximum say after 7 minutes. See that Satish Raj 2114. He is the IDDMT student, so he is joining very late. If I will join, if you will join like this again, I will beginning from the topic. So we are getting a lot of disturbances. But next time, don't log in lately. If you are getting any internet problem, so 1 or 2 members should be getting internet problem. But more than 7 people joined here now. Wait for 2 minutes. See here. Now, once again, I am repeating the dipole, the basic definition of dipole and electric dipole moment. Gurjit Kaur, roll number P0508, just now joined. See here, dipole. A dipole is an entity in which equal positive and negative charges separated by a small distance is called a dipole. So dipole is nothing but, look here, sometimes in semiconducting materials, that is recombination also, it is known as the recombination. Recombination means the electron and hole pair generation. So these all are occurred in depletion region only. Electron hole pairs are generated. So that is called a dipole also. What is the electric dipole moment? Pranita, she has just now joined. See, what is the electric dipole moment? The product of magnitude of either of the charges and separation distance between them is called a dipole moment. So the dipole moment, electric dipole moment, is denoted with a mu E. Mu E is nothing but electric dipole moment. So where Q is the charge, either negative charge or positive charge, into separation between them, that is the denoted with a small x. So mu E is equal to Q into x. So the units are coulombs meter. This is called as the electric dipole moment. So please note down electric dipole moment. The product of magnitude of either of the charges and the separation distance between them is called a dipole moment. See, all dielectrics are electrical insulators and they are mainly used to store the electrical energy, that is the external electric field. The dielectric materials are used for to store the electrical energy. So what are the examples of dielectric materials? Mica, glass, plastic, water and polar molecules. Next class we will discussing about the what are the polar molecules and non-polar molecules. So in tomorrow's session we will briefly explaining about the polar and non-polar molecules in dielectric materials. So these polar molecules and non-polar molecules are occurred in polarization processes only. These all are the examples of dielectric materials. So note down the examples: mica, glass, plastic, water and polar molecules. Next, see there how the dielectric material is placed in between the two parallel capacitor plates. This is the positive charge parallel capacitor plate. This is the negative charge parallel capacitor plates. So when the electric field is, when the dielectric material is placed in between the two parallel capacitor plates, inside the dielectric material, the negative charge carriers are attracting the positive charge carriers of parallel capacitor plates. At the same time, so the negative charge carriers, the positive charge carriers are attract the negative charge carrier parallel capacitor plates. So that's why inside the dielectric material, the electron and that is a proton, that is a positive charge carrier pair is generated. So that is called dipole. See how the dipoles are created inside the dielectric material. So because it is placed inside the dielectric material, it is placed in between the parallel capacitor plates. So you must be draw this diagram. How the dielectric material is placed in between the parallel capacitor plates. See, next definition, put the heading dielectric constant. The dielectric constant is the ratio between the permittivity of the medium to the permittivity of the free space only. So the dielectric constant is denoted with epsilon r, the permittivity of the medium denoted with epsilon, and permittivity of free space is denoted with the epsilon naught. So it is the dielectric constant is defined as the ratio of permittivity of the medium to the permittivity of the free space only. So epsilon r is equal to epsilon by epsilon naught. This is the principle. So the characteristics of a dielectric material are determined by the dielectric constant only. The dielectric constant has no units because it is the ratio only, the permittivity of the medium to the permittivity of a free space. This is known as the dielectric constant. Next heading, electric polarization. What is the electric polarization? Means the process of producing electric dipoles by applying an external electric field is known as polarization in dielectric material. So it is known as the electric polarization. So what is the electric polarization? Means the process of producing the electric dipoles. So already we have defined the electric dipole. What is a dipole? A dipole is an entity in which equal negative and positive charges are separated by a small distance is known as the dipole. So in polarization process, the majority charge carriers takes place only dipoles. Due to the dipoles, the electronic polarization should be occurred in dielectric materials. What is the polarizability? Next heading, polarizability. The polarizability is defined as the induced dipole moment per unit electric field is known as polarizability. So that's why the induced dipole moment is directly proportional to the intensity of the applied electric field. So it is written as the induced dipole moment, that is the electric dipole moment, mu is directly proportional to electric field, capital A. Now here the proportionality constant must be removing here, replacing with the proportionality constant, that is the polarizability constant, that is alpha. Mu is equal to alpha into capital A, where this alpha is known as the polarizability constant. So the polarizability is nothing but mu is equal to alpha into E. So alpha is equal to mu by capital E. Induced dipole moment per unit electric field is known as the polarizability. So you must be write down these equations also. The induced dipole moment per unit electric field is called as polarizability. So mu is directly proportional to E. Then remove the proportionality constant. Mu is equal to alpha into capital E. Alpha is equal to mu by capital E. That is induced dipole moment per electric field is known as polarizability, where alpha is known as the polarizability constant. So this is about the polarizability definition, that is denoted with alpha. For example, here the how to determine the polarizability in polarization processes, like four types are there. One is the electronic polarization. So in that one, it is polarizability is called as the electronic polarizability. And ionic polarization, ionic polarizability, orientational polarization, that is orientational polarizability, space charge polarization, that is space charge polarizability. So and which one you can discussing in which polarization, that must be known with that name only. This is about the polarizability definition. Next heading, polarization vector. So what is the polarization vector means? The dipole moment per unit volume of the dielectric material is called a polarization vector. So that is denoted with a capital P. P is equal to sigma I is equal to 1 to n Q into X. This is the electric dipole moment per unit volume divided with a capital V. So P is equal to mu by small v, or sigma I is equal to 1 to n Q into X divided by capital V. So this is known as the polarization vector. So the difference between the, look here, see, the polarizability is different, polarization is different. Why? Because the induced dipole moment in both cases, in polarizability and polarization vector, the dipole moment is same, but the induced dipole moment per unit electric field is known as the polarizability, but per unit volume is known as the polarization vector. Next, electric flux density. Next heading, electric flux density. It is denoted with the capital D. So what is the electric flux density means? The electric flux density is defined as charge per unit area is known as the electric flux density. It has same units of dielectric polarization. The electric flux density at any point, it is in free space or in air medium in terms of electric field strength. So if it is the flux density, if you can find out the electric flux density in free space or in medium, so you can write the equations, different equations for free space and in air medium. For example, the material is placed in vacuum medium. At that time, the flux density should be, equation is changing here, that is D naught is equal to epsilon naught into capital E, because this material is placed in vacuum medium only or in free space. At the same time, if the material is placed in the air medium or any medium, so the flux density should be written as D is equal to epsilon into capital E. So one equation for free space and another equation for in air medium or any medium is present. So this is considered equation number 1. D naught is equal to epsilon naught E and D is equal to epsilon E. This is considered equation number 2. See, at the same time, if the polarization is there inside the, means when the dielectric material is placed in between the parallel capacitor plates, look here, if the dielectric material is placed inside the parallel capacitor plates, the polarization also occurred due to the generation of negative and positive charge carriers. That is, the dipoles are created inside the material. So at that time, the polarization also occurred inside the dielectric material. So at that situation, the electric flux density is written as D is equal to epsilon naught E plus P. This is considered equation number 3. See here, as the polarization measures additional flux density arising from the presence of material as compared to free space. So at that time, the flux density, that is the electric flux density, is written as D is equal to epsilon naught E plus P. So this is considered equation number 3. Just wait, another 2 members are waiting for logging the session. Just now 2 members joined. This is about the electric flux density. So please everyone note down these equations also, because they can ask the questions in your internal lab or end examination also. At the same time, they can give for 2 marks question. So in 2 marks question at the end examination, what is the flux density? So if you can write only the basic definition, electric flux density, the electric flux density is defined as a charge per unit area. If you can write like this, they can give only 0 marks. So that's why you must be write the basic definition and how we will get the equations for electric flux density in free space or in air medium if additionally polarization is occurred in between the parallel capacitor plates. So you must be write down these 3 equations. First one, in free space, D naught is equal to epsilon naught E. If the air medium or any medium is present, D is equal to epsilon into capital E. That is equation number 2. If the polarization is there, so D is equal to epsilon naught E plus P. So 1, 2, 3. These 3 equations must be write down. Then you will get more marks, either in mid examination or end examination, as well as in practical lab also. Now here, from equation number 2 and equation number 3, we have observed that epsilon E is equal to epsilon naught E plus capital P into epsilon naught minus, epsilon minus epsilon naught. So here the equation is required. If E is equal to P, then epsilon R P into epsilon R minus 1 into epsilon naught into small e is equal to See here, this epsilon E is equal to epsilon naught E plus P. So E is equal to P. Then you can write down the equation epsilon R minus 1 into epsilon naught E into capital E is equal to P only. So this, the fourth equation is required here. Now see here, various polarization processes. So when the dielectric material is placed inside the DC, direct current electric field, so the material is sometimes known as the specimen, or it is known as the sample also. Sample is nothing but material. So the dielectric material is fabricated with different materials. So those pieces are called as the specimens or samples also. So when the dielectric material is placed inside the parallel capacitor plates, we can apply the direct current that is known as the DC power supply. So here what will happening? The polarization occurred inside the dielectric material. So the process of polarization is, first one is due to the electronic polarization. The processes are classified into 4 types. One is the electronic polarization. Second one is the ionic polarization. Third one is the orientation polarization. Fourth one is the space charge polarization. So next class we will briefly discussing about the electronic polarization, all these 4 types of polarizations, and how to derive the equations in each polarization processes. Only you should have write down the 4 types of polarizations are there. One is the electronic polarization, second one is the ionic polarization, third one is the orientation polarization, and fourth one is the space charge polarization. So just to note down this process of various polarizations. Next, another definition, electric susceptibility. In electric susceptibility, the polarization vector. What is the polarization vector? From the definition, the dipole moment per unit volume of the dielectric material is called a polarization vector. So that the polarization vector capital P, that is directly proportional to the total electric flux density. At the same time, it is directly proportional to the applied electric field. That is, applied electric field is known as the external electric field also. So the polarization vector P is directly proportional to the total electric flux density and also direction of electric field. So that's why the polarization vector can be written as P bar, where bar is nothing but it is denoted with indicated with the vector only. So the polarization vector P is equal to written as epsilon naught into capital E, that is external electric field. The proportionally constant is removing here. It is replacing with the Xi, that is the electric susceptibility Xi. So P bar is equal to epsilon naught into Xi E. So if magnetic susceptibility is there, Xi magnetic here denoted with suffix only. So Xi E is nothing but E is the suffix only. E represents electric susceptibility only. into external electric field. Here we need the electric susceptibility, that is Xi is equal to P divided by epsilon naught into capital E. So that is equal to, again it should be written as epsilon naught into epsilon r minus 1, because already we know P is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r minus 1 into capital E divided by epsilon naught into capital E. So here epsilon naught cancel, and electric field capital E cancel. So Xi is equal to written as epsilon r minus 1. So this is known as the electric susceptibility. So simply you can remembering you the polarization vector. What is the polarization vector? The dipole moment per unit volume of the dielectric material is known as the polarization vector. So that P is directly proportional to the applied external electric field as well as electric flux density also. So the polarization vector P is equal to epsilon naught into Xi into capital A. So Xi is equal to, already we know, P by epsilon naught into E. So Xi is written as epsilon r, that is the dielectric constant, minus 1 only. So this equation is known as the electric susceptibility in dielectric material. Next, electronic polarization. So the electronic polarization is defined as when an external electric field is applied to an atom. Atom is nothing but dielectric material for the specimen. The positively charged nucleus displaces in the direction of electric field. So here simply remembering you, when the dielectric material is placed inside the parallel capacitor plates, the negative charge carriers moving opposite to the direction of the applied electric field, but positive charge carriers are moving along with the same direction of applied electric field. So this kind of displacement will produce an electric dipole within the atom. So that electric dipole moment is directly proportional to the magnitude of the field strength. That field strength is nothing but external electric field. So that's why the electric dipole moment is directly proportional to the field strength, that is the applied electric field. Mu E is directly proportional to capital E. So now here remove this proportionality constant. So mu E is equal to alpha E into capital E, where alpha E is known as the electronic polarizability constant. So this is about the electronic polarizability constant. So why should we have putting the electronic polarization? Means the electronic polarization is directly proportional to the applied electric field. So that is, so when the electric field is applied to the dielectric material, so the dipoles are created, means negative and positive charge carriers are generated inside the atom or dielectric material. So that electric field, the polarization vector is directly proportional to the applied electric field. At the same time, the electric dipole moment also directly proportional to the applied electric field. So mu E is equal to alpha E into capital E, where alpha E is called as the electronic polarizability. So this is about the electronic polarization, as well as here the constant is there. This is called as the electronic polarizability. Next, how the electronic polarizability varying with the different molecules or atoms. Look here, taking the inert gases like helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, the alpha E is nothing but which are having the different values. The alpha E is equal to, for helium, 0.18 into 10 to the power of minus 40 farads meter square, and the electronic polarizability for neon, it is having 0.35, for argon 1.46 into 10 to the power of minus 40 farads meter square, and xenon 3.54 into 10 to the power of minus 40 farads meter square. So these all are practically proved here. Now, when the electronic polarizability increases with increase of volume of the atom, so it is the volume of the atom is increases, at the same time electronic polarizability also increases. Next, it occurs only at optical frequencies, that is depends upon the frequency 10 to the power of 15 hertz. So this is known as the optical frequency. If it is having 10 to the power of 13 or 10 to the power of 12, that is called as the infrared region, because it is invisible region only. So depends upon the frequency, it should be changed with respect to the frequencies only. So it occurs only at optical frequencies, that is called 10 to the power of 15 hertz. This much of frequency should be identified by our eyes only. Next, another point, the electronic polarizability is independent of temperature. It doesn't depend upon temperature. So these why it is independent of temperature, so we will discuss later in the next class. Only today we will have learning about the basic definitions only, but you should have note down all these points. So the electronic polarizability is increases with the increase of volume of the atom, and it is occurred only at optical frequencies, that is 10 to the power of 15 hertz, and it is independent of temperature. So this is about the electronic polarizability. Next, tomorrow class we should have learned about the how the polarization processes occurred in dielectric material, and what is the how to determine the electronic polarizability and ionic polarizability and orientational polarizability. See there, different equations are there. So tomorrow we will have discussing about the each polarization process in dielectric materials. So today we will have learned only basic definitions. So another definitions also there. What is the capacitance? So what is the Ohm's law, Kirchhoff voltage law, Kirchhoff current law? All these principles are learned in intermediate and 10th class also. So that's why again I didn't explain about the what is the current, how the voltage is occurring. So how much the voltage is supplying in our houses or whatever it may be. All these small basic definitions also there, but no need of all these things. So already you know what is the Ohm's law. So I have observed in laboratory, most of the students they are telling what is the Ohm's law? Sir, Ohm's law is defined as V is, that is the voltage is directly proportional to current. What is this? Whenever you have saying the answer or explaining about particular topic, you must be clearly explaining about that definition or concept or topic, whatever it may be, how much it is very lesser or how much it is very bigger. So remembering you, whenever they will ask you in laboratory in 2 marks question, you must be define the definition, the Ohm's law. At absolute temperature, the voltage is directly proportional to the current only. This is known as the Ohm's law. So because V is equal to IR, already we know. Or at room temperature or at absolute temperature, whatever it may be, you must be mention the temperature, because when we have applying the electric field in terms of voltage or current, the material must be varying with the temperature. Their readings also very changes. For example, transformer is there. What is the basic principle of transformer? So all these are learned in BEE lab or theory also. Basic electrical and electronics lab, that is called BEE lab. So what is the basic principle of transformer means? That is a mutual inductance only. So whenever the primary coil is running at the same time, if the secondary coil is placed there in between them, the magnetic field is generated in between them. And another one is the Kirchhoff voltage law, Kirchhoff current law. So all these all are learned in previous classes. So that's why I didn't explain about what is the current, what is the Kirchhoff voltage law, what is the Kirchhoff current law. But in your lab or end examinations, practically, especially in practical labs, they will ask all these questions and questions. Those all are nothing but viva questions. For example, I am explaining briefly about the RC circuit. What is the RC circuit? You know what is the capacitor, what is the resistance, what is the color code of resistance or resistor, to find out the resistance, how much it is there. So one principle is there, that is the Beer goes to whatever it may be. So from that one, you can find out the resistance of that resistor. So how they are connected, in series or in parallel. So if the series is connected, R1 plus R2 plus R3, but capacitor is opposite, that is 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. So and parallel, 1 by R1, 1 by R2, 1 by R3 plus, but the capacitor is connected in parallel, C1 plus C2 plus C3, like that. So whenever these two are contact with each other on the breadboard, so you after you have to connected this RC circuit, that is the experiment. From that one you have RC circuit, we have observed some practical things also. So where we will use this RC circuit experiment. For example, I am telling you, this is very important to us. When we are going on the road or main junctions, did you observe or not? Nowadays we are using the digital systems only. So we will take the Lagni couple, that is the main junction. So you are moving from Lagni couple to Amirpet. The display board is displaying 140 seconds. After 140 seconds, it should be moving from Lagni couple to another point. So another 3 points are stopped there. Whenever moving from Lagni couple to what is that place? Bayompet to here towards Koti, at the same point that is displaying 180 seconds. But how the traffic police should be controlling this whole traffic at that particular point, because it has the 4 directions are there. One is going towards Rajbhavan Road, another way is going to Amirpet. in opposite direction, one is going to IMAX, that is a Tank Bond Road. Another one is going towards Koti or Medipatnam, Lakdikapul, whatever it may be. But how the traffic police should be controlling this traffic? So in opposite direction, one is displaying 140 seconds, another one is displaying 120 seconds, another one is displaying 90 seconds, another one is displaying 60 seconds. In that circuit boards, this RC circuit is placed or fixed inside the box only. So in that one, see here, from RC circuit, we have learned two cases. Whenever the current is growing in forward direction, at the same time, when the voltage is increasing, the capacitance also increasing. That is the charging. In discharge, here the current is decreasing simultaneously. So this discharging point capacitor should be fixed inside that circuit board only. So at that time, you have carefully observed the traffic police should be standing there and he is operating that instrument. Can you observe or not? I don't know. In anywhere, not only in Lakdikapul, in our opposite JNTU main gate also, one traffic police is sitting there or standing there and he is operating that circuit board. He is having with hands only. That is having only small table board is there. So he can operate that one. If he can switch this one, you can move from Lakdikapul to Koti, towards Koti. Remaining three should be stopped there. But it is moving from 180 seconds, 179, 169, like this, up to reaches 8 seconds. The red signal is blinking like this. After that one, a yellow color signal will come and a green signal. So when the green signal is there, you can move from any direction. If the red is there, so at that purpose, this RC circuit, discharging RC circuit is fixed inside that circuit boards only. So whenever come to the lab, so before coming to the lab, you must be very well known about the what is the resistance, what is the capacitance, how should you connecting in either series or parallel, whatever it may be. So if you will very well known about the theoretical, but in practical, before come to the practical lab, again we will have rewinding these basic definitions only. So that's why I am explaining particularly about the basic definitions in dielectric materials. Once we will enter into the lab, again we don't explain about the what is the dipole, what is the dipole moment, how the electric field is stored in dielectric materials, what are the semiconductor materials, either those doped with the intrinsic semiconductor or extrinsic semiconductors. Why should I have repeating in our class? It means after completion of your theory online classes, there will be also conducting the internal labs. Internal labs means before conducting the internal practical labs, you will be must be come to the lab. You can do more than either 1 or 2 or 3 experiments. So whenever you have listening the classes, you can think lab purpose also, not only theoretical exams or theoretical questions. You can be also preparing for lab session also. So due to the pandemic, COVID pandemic situation, we could not explaining the labs, and also we are not taking the labs offline. Only the theory classes are going on. So tomorrow, I will explain the process of polarization. What is the electronic polarization? Ionic polarization. Another one is the orientation polarization and space charge polarization. Please everybody respond your attendance. Roll number 501,
Present, sir.
502,
Present, sir.